When I was mocking up this test circuit for the AC Delco tone control, I ran into an issue where the full circuit seemed to be a little bit too lossy. So I added the use of this switch to take out parts of the circuit and simplify the whole thing. The issue was the enclosure that I used had a switch in it already. It was this guy. This is a momentary switch, and it's a double pole, double throw. But being momentary, it would only activate or select the full circuit or the simplified circuit only when I had the button pushed down. I didn't want to stand on the switch the whole time, so I opted for one of these things. This is the 3-pole double throw switch that we often see in guitar effects advertised as true bypass. And while it works in this, the issue was I had to use all 3 of those poles to have the full circuit versus the simplified circuit. The differences were so slight, it would have been nice to have an LED or something to let me know which version of the circuit I was using. As it was, I just had to rely on my ear, and the changes were so subtle, it was really hard to tell the difference. I started thinking, okay, so we have true bypass and we have buffered bypass. I came across a circuit that was unique, I'll say that, or at least it wasn't something that I was used to seeing in guitar electronics. It was something from the ham radio or the RF radio frequency world. And so I started wondering, it's a really, really simple circuit, and it uses just a simple diode. I won't get the camera to focus on that, but just using a diode, not for clipping and not for limiting, but using it purely as a switch. If I apply the forward voltage to this, it opens up the switch and lets the audio frequency through. Now you have to add a few components around it to make it work, but it actually worked pretty well. But then I started experimenting with it, and I found some really, really weird behavior that I think we can exploit and turn into something else. So let's take a look at what I came up with on the bench. Right, so using a diode as a switch. There's our diode. And the way diodes work is if we apply a voltage across here, if it's a silicon diode, usually about 0.7 volts or so, that forward voltage opens the diode and allows the DC voltage or the AC voltage rippling across it to tunnel on through. Now, to use this as a switch in the RF world, they have some positive voltage, and they'll go through an inductor, and they'll have another inductor down here going to ground. They'll have a capacitor on the input side, a capacitor on the output side, and this winds up being a switch for RF frequencies. So you have an RF frequency coming in here, easily passes through the coupling capacitor, the inductor. For high frequency signals, this might as well be infinite, so it's not going to want to go that way. If there is a DC voltage applied across here, this is open. The RF frequency comes through. Again, we have an inductor, so that resistance is extraordinarily high for a radio frequency signal, and then we tunnel on through. If the power supply is brought down to ground, this diode closes, and the RF frequency might still come through, but since the diode is closed, if the signal is less than that activation or the forward voltage, it essentially gets blocked there. Now, for a regular audio signal, I reworked the circuit, but instead of using an inductor, I used 100K resistors on either side, used 100 nanofarad capacitors for the input and for the output. My forward voltage for a silicon diode, again, is about 0.7 of a volt. Guitar signal into here, 100 nanofarad really lets the majority of the signal come through. If a positive voltage is applied, the diode is open. Well, a positive voltage greater than 0.7 volts, 100K, really there's no appreciable loss going on here. And 100 nanofarads lets the signal come out with minimal losses. My input signal is coming in. A DC voltage gets applied in this center section. I fed that with about 9 volts DC, and my guitar signal is riding on top here. And then coming out the other side, the DC signal is blocked, and I get my guitar signal back again. And this works extremely well as long as the guitar signal doesn't exceed the forward voltage of the diode. Let's prototype this circuit, and I'll show you how effective it works. For this first experiment, I'm going to be using the silicone diode that has a forward voltage of about 0.63 volts. All right, first iteration of the circuit. This will be my input for my guitar, coming up through here, through a 100 nanofarad capacitor. And from there, we've got the silicone diode, 100 nanofarad output capacitor, which will go on over here to the output. Now I have this switch here, which will either connect to the positive rail or to ground, and center contact is coming up through a 100K resistor to apply the forward voltage, which will drain to ground through another 100K resistor. I have power applied already. Now I just need to hook up the guitar and a small amp so we can hear it. And guitar input. So one of the problems with this setup is if I strum extremely hard, the guitar signal will overpower or push through with enough forward voltage to come through this diode. Because right now it should be off. If I turn it on, I have full volume again. So for experiment 2, I'm going to use a high and a low voltage, and in the off position, I will put the positive rail on this side, and this side will go to ground. So it'll be positive voltage on one side, ground on the other, and moving the right direction, the diode will have enough forward voltage to let the signal through, and in the off position, the positive rail will be on this blocking side. Okay, so now I have this rewired, so I'm using 2 different switches. This switch will control the voltage applied to this resistor. Right now it is in the ground state, so that's on the lower rail. And if I flip that switch, it'll go over to the high side and apply the high voltage there. This bottom switch that I've got here goes to this lower resistor, and I have it set so when it's in this leftmost position to line up with this guy. So I'm building a double pole, double throw switch here. In this left position, it's going to the upper rail. In the right position, it goes to, should be the opposite of what that guy is. So that should be on ground. All right, so if both switches are this direction, I've got ground over here. I've got the positive voltage this way, so this is off. If I switch both toggles to the right, the voltages switch. So I'll have the high voltage applied to the left, the low voltage or the ground applied on the right, and that'll be on. Starting off in the off position. You may hear the guitar just through the microphone, but I'm not getting any breakthrough. And then I can turn them both on. So at this point, we have the basics to make a simple on-off switch for an audio signal. It could be for a guitar. It could be for different stations in a radio or a hi-fi system or something like that, which is a use case for these kinds of diode switches. Now, where I'm going to go with this next is I'm going to extend the idea of a single on-off switch and come up with a true bypass switch. One that I can have the input and the output come into an effect. I can switch it and have it go through an effects loop, and also have an LED indicator to let me know which route I'm going through the circuit. Most importantly, though, it's not a buffered bypass. It's not exactly a true bypass either. This thing is something in between, and I haven't heard anybody talk about this thing before. But that's going to come up next time. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, do consider subscribing to the channel. I'd love to see you come along for that next bit. So I'm going to get back into it and start doing some more tinkering. All right, catch you next time.